The war between Russia and Ukraine rages on. In the latest, Russia launched 17 drones to attack Ukraine. Russia reportedly used Iran-made Shahid drones. Ukraine claims to have destroyed 13 or 14 of the 17 that were launched. The strategic Ukrainian port of Odessa was also targeted. No casualties have been reported. Russia has defended itself against criticism over its presidency of the United Nations Security Council. The country insisted that it will not abuse the position to defend its invasion of Ukraine. The Russian ambassador to the UN said, and I quote, "One thing is the national position, the second thing is the role of the presidency of the Security Council." Finland is all set to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The country will join NATO as its 31st member. Russia's invasion of Ukraine prompted Finland to apply for NATO membership. Turkey and Hungary were the last two NATO members to approve Finland's bid to join the organization. With this, Finland's flag will be raised outside the NATO headquarters in Brussels. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has said that his country will support Moldova against Russian threats. This comes after Moldova repeatedly says that it faces hybrid attacks from the Kremlin. Moldova's president met Scholz and Romania's president in Bucharest. Russia has denied causing any trouble in Moldova. The former Soviet nation is located between Romania and Ukraine. Former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo visited the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. During a speech, he highlighted the importance of supporting Ukraine in the war. Pompeo is a potential Republican candidate for the 2024 U.S. presidential election. The Prime Minister of the Central American nation of Belize met Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen. He underlined Belize's support for Taiwan. Referring to China, Tsai spoke of expansionist threats from authoritarian regimes. Tsai embarked on a visit to two Central American nations after former ally Honduras established diplomatic ties with China. China has warned U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy against meeting Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen. China said, and I quote, "Don't repeat disastrous past mistakes. It would not help regional peace and stability." McCarthy is set to host Tsai in California this week. The U.S. House Speaker is the third most senior position in the U.S. government after President and Vice President. U.S. media says the Chinese balloon that flew across the country gathered intelligence from various military sites. It also reportedly transmitted the information back to Beijing in real time. The high-altitude balloon was shot down on February 4th. Beijing had earlier denied that the balloon was its government's spy vessel. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has arrived at Trump Tower in New York City. He is due to surrender at the Manhattan District Attorney's office. Trump has been indicted for making hush money payments to a porn star ahead of the 2016 presidential election. Trump took to his social media website, Truth Social, to attack the Manhattan DA. He said, and I quote, "DA Bragg just illegally leaked the 33 points of indictment. No crime by Trump. What a mess. Bragg should resign now." Trump is the first U.S. president to ever face criminal charges. Students in the U.S. state of Tennessee marched towards the Tennessee State Capitol building. They demanded an end to gun violence and called for stronger gun laws. This comes after a school shooting in the city of Nashville last week. 6 people, including 3 children and 3 adults, were killed in the shooting. Investigators found that the shooter had bought 7 guns legally. Syria's official news agency showed the country's air defenses intercepting Israeli missile strikes. They reportedly targeted some points in the vicinity of Damascus. This is the 4th such attack in less than a week. 2 Syrian civilians have been killed in the incidents. A high-speed passenger train crashed into heavy construction equipment and derailed in The Hague in the Netherlands. At least 1 person has been killed and around 30 have been injured. The double-decker train was traveling between Amsterdam and The Hague with around 60 people on board. Several ambulances have been deployed as a part of the rescue operation. Malaysia's parliament has removed the country's mandatory death penalty for 11 serious crimes. This includes murder and terrorism. Now, judges will use their discretion to impose capital punishment in exceptional cases. With this move, Malaysia has spared more than 1,000 prisoners from the death penalty. Former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is set to take up a new role. She will be working with international organizations and social media companies to target extremism and terror content. New Zealand's current Prime Minister, Chris Hipkins, has created a new position. Ardern has been appointed as Special Envoy for the Christchurch Call. The Christchurch Call was created by Ardern. This was done in the aftermath of a terror attack on a mosque in the city of Christchurch in 2019. A massive fire broke out in a clothing market in Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka. Hundreds of firefighters have been deployed to battle the blaze. An Air Force helicopter has also been deployed to help douse the fire. No casualties have been reported. Hundreds of people marched in the capital of the country of Georgia. They were marching for women's rights. This comes following a high-profile harassment scandal against women at a local TV station. Protesters said they were carrying out the march in solidarity. According to the UN, 1 in 7 women in Georgia have faced domestic violence during their lifetime. At least 20 people have been killed in a landslide in the East Democratic Republic of Congo. The casualties include 13 children and 7 women. Several people have gone missing. 1 person is under medical care. A 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck the eastern coast of Russia. The epicenter of the earthquake was almost 100 kilometers away in the waters of the Avacha Bay. This is the second earthquake to hit this region within a month. There are no reports of a tsunami, casualties, or structural damage. The snow level in the US state of California has increased to 237% of the normal amount. This comes after the state experienced 3 years of drought. California relies on the store of mountain snow to provide water during the dry spring and warm summer. Flooding remains a threat after the snow melts. The Australian government will remove TikTok from all its devices. The government said that its actions stem from security concerns related to the app. Australia has become the latest country to initiate actions against TikTok. Countries like the US, UK and Canada have already banned the app from government devices. Twitter owner Elon Musk has changed the social media platform's iconic logo. He has changed the blue bird logo to mimic the popular cryptocurrency Dogecoin. This appears to be a late April Fool's Day prank by the billionaire owner. There is no clarity if the change is temporary or here to stay, or for how long. The change has sent the price of cryptocurrency Dogecoin skyrocketing more than 30%. According to media reports, retail giant Walmart is set to cut more than 2,000 jobs. The positions will be eliminated from 5 US e-commerce warehouses. These will include warehouses in Texas, Pennsylvania, Florida, and New Jersey. It's also planning additional reductions in California. This comes after the company laid off hundreds of workers just last month. Tech giant Apple is looking to eliminate a small number of roles. The iPhone maker will lay off people from its corporate retail teams. As of now, there is no certainty on the number of positions being cut. Reports suggest it's likely a very small number. This comes amid rampant layoffs across various sectors as businesses fear an incoming recession. Germany's accounting watchdog has fined audit firm Ernst & Young. The watchdog has imposed a fine of more than $500,000 on the company. It's also banned EY from taking up new audits for 2 years. EY had served as the auditor for German firm Wirecard. Wirecard had filed for insolvency in June 2020 after disclosing one of Germany's biggest frauds. HSBC's board has unanimously recommended its shareholders vote against the company's spin-off. The bank has been facing calls for restructuring its Asian business. The company has said that a restructuring could create uncertainty for its clients. It has also said that a restructuring would disrupt the shareholders. The US Virgin Islands want to expand their lawsuit on financial firm JP Morgan. It accuses the bank of aiding late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The bank allegedly helped Epstein evade criminal liability. The territory said that Epstein's behavior was widely known in the company. Epstein was JP Morgan's client from 2000 to 2013. A federal jury has asked Tesla to pay a fine of about $3 million. The EV maker will pay the fine to one of its former black employees. The employee had accused the company of failing to act against his complaints. He had complained about facing racial bias within the company. Rocket maker Virgin Orbit has expressed doubts about continuing its operations. The company has said it can operate for the next 12 months. It recently laid off 85% of its workforce. The company also ceased operations as it faces a substantial cash crunch. Virgin Orbit is owned by British billionaire Richard Branson. Global automakers have reported a rise in first quarter US sales. Meanwhile, Toyota continues to grapple with a parts shortage. General Motors has posted a 17.6% rise in first quarter auto sales. Asian automakers Mazda, Honda and Hyundai have posted a rise in sales. However, rising interest rates and fears of a recession are drying up demand for big purchases. Moving on to sports, in the IPL cricket tournament, English spinner Moeen Ali's 4-wicket haul helped Chennai Super Kings register their first win. They beat Lucknow by 12 runs. Chennai's Ruturaj Gaikwad slammed his second consecutive 50, scoring 57 of just 31 balls. Chennai home ground fans also cheered as MS Dhoni made a cameo and scored 12 runs from just 3 balls. Reliance-owned Jio Cinema announced on Monday that the app saw traffic of over 1.47 billion views in the first IPL weekend. Jio Cinema also garnered 50 million mobile app downloads. Reliance had earlier announced that the IPL would be broadcast on Jio Cinema for users across all networks for free. The Mumbai Cricket Association has announced a permanent seat at Wankhede Stadium for former India captain MS Dhoni. The memorial spot will be the same where Dhoni hit the winning six in the 2011 World Cup final. The iconic stadium already has stands named after Vijay Merchant, Sunil Gavaskar and Dilip Vengsarkar. In football, Italy coach Roberto Mancini has criticized FIFA for having 48 teams contend in the 2026 World Cup instead of the usual 32 teams. Mancini is under contract with Italy until the 2026 World Cup. The 2026 World Cup will be jointly hosted by the US, Canada and Mexico. Mancini believes that playing too many matches will tire out star footballers. Former German footballer and Saudi Arabia's technical director of women football, Monika Stab, bids for the nation to qualify for the Women's Football World Cup. Stab was the first coach of the newly set up Saudi Arabia women's football team in 2021. The Saudi Arabian women's team played its first game in February 2022 and aims to participate in the Football World Cup within 10 years. Hervé Renard, the France women football team's newly appointed manager, fires a warning to the squad ahead of the World Cup. He expressed his strong views to all team members about earning their spot in the game and doing all their homework well. He recently announced that Wendy Renard was the new captain of the women's football team. UEFA President Alexander Seferin said that Barcelona's refereeing scandal is one of the most crucial incidents in football history. Barcelona is under investigation for violating UEFA's legal framework. Payments of over $7 million were made by Barcelona from 2001 to 2018. This was to firms owned by former refereeing officials of the Spanish Football Association. Spanish football club Espanyol has appointed former player Luis Garcia as its new coach. 42-year-old Garcia scored 60 goals in over 260 appearances for Espanyol between 2005 and 2012. The appointment comes after Diego Martinez was sacked following the club's fourth straight league defeat. In tennis, Novak Djokovic has regained his #1 spot in the ATP World Rankings. He took the #1 spot from Carlos Alcaraz. Djokovic now has a 380-point lead over Alcaraz, who is once again in second place. In badminton, Sania Nehwal and B. Sai Praneeth will lead the Indian attack at the Orleans Masters in France. The Orleans Masters is a Super 300 level badminton tournament. With PV Sindhu and top doubles pair Ranki Reddy Shetty pulling out, no Indian players are entering the event as seeded. Actor Leonardo DiCaprio has testified in the trial of rapper Pras Michel. The rapper is accused of taking money from Malaysian billionaire Zhou Lo. DiCaprio was asked to testify about his links to Lo. He testified that he's known the Malaysian billionaire since 2010 and often partied with him. DiCaprio's film, The Wolf of Wall Street, was also partially funded by a firm linked to the Malaysian billionaire. A television series on the Harry Potter books is underway. Author J.K. Rowling is in talks to produce the series. Each book of the 7-book series will be developed as one season. The series would be produced by Warner Brothers Television. K-pop singer Jimin tops the US Billboard chart. His song, Like Crazy, lands the #1 spot on the Billboard's Hot 100. With this, Jimin becomes the first solo South Korean artist to reach the #1 spot. Like Crazy is Jimin's song from his debut album, Face. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is set to have its world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. The final film of the Indiana Jones franchise will be screened on the 18th of May. However, its theatrical release is scheduled for the 30th of June. The film stars Harrison Ford in the titular role. Oscar-nominated actor Austin Butler is set to star in the film City of Fire. The film is an adaptation of author Don Winslow's novel of the same name. The book is the first part of a trilogy. Butler was last seen in a biopic on late singer Elvis Presley. A sequel for director Michael Mann's 1995 crime thriller Heat is underway. Warner Brothers Studios is developing the sequel Heat 2. The story will be based on Mann's best-selling novel of the same name. Actor Adam Driver is in talks to play the role originally played by Robert De Niro. Disney's animated film Moana is set for a live animation adaptation. Actor Dwayne Johnson, who plays the demigod Maui in the film, announced the news. In a video message, he said, "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reunite with Maui." Johnson will also co-produce the film. Jinx Monsoon, the winner of reality show Drag Race, has joined the cast of Doctor Who. As per reports, the actor is in a major role in the upcoming season of the BBC series. About her role, Jinx joked that she hopes there's room in the TARDIS for her luggage. Doctor Who will return in November 2023. Netflix is launching a career development lab for trans and non-binary filmmaking aspirants. This is in collaboration with the Transgender Film Center. The fellowship will support 8 candidates. The 12-week program offers site visits and a grant of $10,000. Submissions are open till the 23rd of April. Netflix is venturing into the pilot development model. The streaming giant has ordered a pilot episode for the comedy show Little Sky. Actor Samara Weaving has joined the show's ensemble cast. Weaving will also executive produce the show.